You prayed, you waited, you believed, and still nothing came. What if the blessing was never the problem? What if you were? God is not withholding from you out of cruelty. He is preparing you, and preparation always costs something first. There are 7 things God removes before He blesses you, and if you are in that season right now, this will change how you see everything. Before we get into all 7, if this kind of content speaks to your soul, subscribe so you never miss what comes next. Now, here is something most people never consider. God is not slow. He is surgical. Every removal has a reason. Think about the Passover story. Before Israel was delivered from Egypt, God did not just open a door. He dismantled an entire system first. The Israelites had to release their identity as slaves before they could walk into their identity as a free people. That release was not comfortable. That is the pattern. Removal before arrival. Emptying before filling. This is how God has always worked. So let us walk through all 7, starting with the one that hurts the most and the one almost nobody talks about openly. Number 1, God removes the wrong people. And this one cuts deep because the wrong people are often people you love. They may not be bad people. They may simply be the wrong people for where God is taking you. That distinction matters enormously. A friendship that drains your calling, a relationship that pulls you backward, a circle that mocks your faith, God will remove them. Not always with a fight. Sometimes He just lets the season end, the calls stop, the connection fades. That is not abandonment, that is alignment. But here is the danger. If you chase what God is closing, you delay what He is opening. Let it go. Number 2, God removes your pride, and He does not ask for it politely. He engineers circumstances that make pride impossible to hold on to. You thought you had it figured out. You were certain your plan was the right one. Then it collapsed, completely. That collapse was not punishment. That collapse was preparation. God cannot fill a vessel that is already full of itself. Pride is the one thing that makes a blessing dangerous, because a proud person receives a blessing and destroys themselves with it. So God breaks it first. He humbles before He honors. That is not cruelty. That is mercy dressed in pain. Number 3, God removes your comfort zone. And this one is perhaps the most misunderstood removal of them all. Comfort feels like safety, but comfort at the wrong time is actually a cage. It keeps you small when God has called you to something larger. He makes the familiar job disappear. The stable situation suddenly feels impossible. The routine breaks apart without warning. What if the discomfort you are running from is actually the doorway you need to walk through? Every person who ever stepped into something great first had to step away from something safe. That is not a coincidence. That is the pattern. Number 4, God removes your false identity. This one goes deeper than most people are willing to look. You built a version of yourself on what you do, what people think of you, and what you have achieved. God will strip that down. Because if your identity is tied to your title, losing the title breaks you. God needs your identity rooted in Him, nothing else. He removes the label, He removes the reputation, He strips you back to just you and Him. And in that place, He tells you who you really are. That is not destruction, that is the most important rebuilding of your entire life. Number 5, God removes your bitterness, and He often waits until it is fully exposed before He moves it. Bitterness is a silent poison. You carry it quietly for years. You call it discernment. You call it being realistic, but it is bitterness. And bitterness blocks blessing like a dam, blocks a river. The water is there. The flow is stopped by what you refuse to release. Here is what people do not understand about forgiveness. You do not forgive because the other person deserves it. You forgive because you do. Every blessing God has for you is on the other side of the forgiveness you are withholding. That is not a metaphor. That is a spiritual reality. So God puts you through the experience that forces you to confront it. That long, dry season, it has a question buried inside it. Will you let it go? Number 6, God removes your timeline. And this one is where most believers give up, right at the edge of the breakthrough. You had a plan, a deadline, an age by which certain things would happen. God looked at your timeline and quietly set it aside. And that delay felt like failure. It felt like rejection. It felt like he had forgotten. He had not forgotten. He was recalculating. Think about it this way. If the blessing had arrived on your schedule, you would not have been ready for it. The delay was not a punishment. It was protection. The hardest thing to accept is that God's timing is not your timing, and His timing is always, without exception, the right timing. If this message is speaking to your heart right now, hit the like button. Someone else needs this too, and you can help them find it. Now, number 7, God removes your self-sufficiency, and this is the final thing He removes because it is often the deepest root. You stop praying when things are going well. You only call out to God when you are desperate. That is self-sufficiency, and it is a barrier. So God allows the situation where you simply cannot fix it yourself. You have tried every angle. Nothing works. That is not failure. That is God positioning you to receive something that can only come from Him, not from your own effort. Because a blessing built on your own strength is fragile. A blessing built on His foundation is permanent. He removes your hands from the wheel, not to watch you crash, but to show you He can drive. Now let us bring all 7 together, because the pattern becomes powerful when you see it whole. Wrong people, pride, comfort zone, false identity, bitterness, your timeline, self-sufficiency, 7 things, 1 purpose, to make room for what God has for you. None of it is random. Every difficult season you have walked through has been strategic. God does not waste pain. He uses it, He redeems it, and one day you will look back at the very thing that broke you and call it the best thing that ever happened. Here is what the season of removal feels like from the inside. It feels like loss. It feels like God has gone silent. It feels like you are standing in an empty room where everything you leaned on used to be. That emptiness is not the end. It is the beginning. Because God does not remove without intention. He makes space. He clears the ground. And then He builds something you could not have imagined. Think of it like a field before planting. Before anything can grow, the ground must be broken. The rocks must be cleared. The old growth must be cut back. That process looks like destruction, but it is cultivation. And you are the field God refuses to give up on. So if you are in the middle of a removal season right now, this is what you need to know. You have not been forgotten. You are being formed. Do not run from the process. Do not try to rush it. Do not manufacture your own way out. Stay in it. Cooperate with it. Because the people who resist the removal delay the blessing. And the people who surrender to the process step into something extraordinary. What kind of person do you want to be? The one who fights every difficult season? Or the one who learns to trust what they cannot fully see yet?